John Cena. I want to go to John first. How John Cena approached uncomfortable conversation with his wife about not wanting kids. And by the way, this is with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's podcast, Shay Shay. I think it's called Club Shay Shay. Here's how the conversation starts, and I'm going to kind of process this with everybody on the panel. Go ahead, Rob.
You didn't want kids. Where are you on kids now?
I don't want them.
You don't?
No, and I'm still there. I'm 47. I don't have them.
You don't want a little Johnny? Or Joanna?
That's great, and that's usually what everyone says. And I got to tell you, it's not the easiest out there because a lot of why we're here is to reproduce. I have a certain curiosity about life, and I also know the investment that it takes. And my biggest fear is, as someone who's driven, many times stubborn and selfish, I try to approach the world with kindness and curiosity, but I don't think I'm personally ready, nor will I ever be, to invest the time it needs to be a great parent, because I want to live life for all it is. And I still have a lot to do, and I still want to do a lot. I have a wonderful partner I do it with. We've had open conversations about this. We share the same values. It's a tough subject to talk about because it immediately puts you in a category, and we can't help but judge. People are human nature. We're all judgmental. I'd like to believe that I operate under the construct that everyone's okay living their life. And I can tell you, this is not like a knee-jerk reaction. I've thought long and hard about this, even as my youngest age.
By the way, Tom, your thoughts listening to what he's saying about, the great thing about competitive people, we're stubborn and selfish, right? He says you have to make a great investment. What are your thoughts about what he's saying here?
Well, number one, he is facing the reality of age for him and his wife, having a child there and then being 65 when they're graduating high school. There's a window there that I think is reality that he touched on. But I also think he touched on something that I think is prevalent in society about, hey, I'm stubborn, I'm competitive, I'm a little selfish. And I think that's where I disagree with people. You know, I think one of the greatest things that being a parent does for you is if you really want to be great, it will make you less selfish because you have to spread your time if you want to be successful. If you have a simple goal, I don't want to have a child no one else wants to be around. I want the child to be a great citizen and have a great stepping off point for life. Whether I'm a plumber and I want my son to take over the business, or my child's going to want to study STEM, which is worth investing in college, or whatever that is, that is good, but you have to understand that you can't be selfish. You have to spread yourself around, and that's not easy. But for people to say this has passed me by, I would challenge John and say, well, what about the Special Olympics? What about being a big brother, big sister in your community? All you have to do is you can apply, you can fill out a form. They do a little background check on you so that bad people are not being part of the Big Brother, Big Sister program. You can do that. You can do what Adam does. One of the things that I absolutely admire about Adam is when he talks about his nephew, and that. So you can invest that way. And I think America needs a community of strong parents and people willing to be parents when the time is right and the age is right, and not be selfish at that point. But you can pour yourself into helping these United States as Big Brother, Big Sister, and all these other
Rob,
things.
what do you think about it, Rob? You, how do you feel about it as a parent yourself? I know I'm going to you next, kind of weird, but how do you feel about it?
It's the greatest job that I've ever had as being a parent. So unfortunately, I don't think you realize that until you're in it. And some people are going to miss out, especially guys like John Cena. When you see the work that John Cena has done for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the guy's been very giving, especially to the audience. So you see what a loving person he is, and it feels like children are going to miss out on not having that type of role model as a father. That being said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody makes good parents.
Adam, Vinny.
I mean, good thing about the moment he started talking and he said 47, it jumped in my head because I'm 46 and I have the complete opposite attitude. And again, my brain tried to go to judge, but he even said it's like, listen, I'm not going to judge him, to each his own, his life. I'm just curious when it comes to the selfishness aspect. It's like, you have a lot of money. You can have a lot of help. It's not like he's going to have the baby PPD and hold it and burp it. And, people with that type of money, you can have help. You could have a nanny. You could have 2 nannies. That's not going to break his bank. But I'm just curious, Pat, what his upbringing was with his family and what his father and his mother. I don't know the relationship. I don't know the dynamic. And I'm curious to know if he's a Christian as well. Because he did say, we're told that we're supposed to, multiply and spread, have children. So I'm curious to see that. But I mean, I respect the decision. I don't agree with it. Mind you, like I said, I'm 46, Pat, and even like we said about the Caesarean convention, I was looking around and I was seeing people with families, and the joy that I was getting just looking at a kid right now. And you know how I am, Tom. You guys all know how I am with kids. They're like a gift from God. And when I see how parents look at them, even when it's a hard struggle, and even when it's difficult, now I'm at the point, Pat, where I'm like, I want that. I want that, and I want it sooner than later.
You're also a young 46.
Thanks, Tom.
And you're driven, and you're making a determination that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it work.
You're lobbying for that 28-year-old Assyrian.
Yes,
I like
yes,
what you just did. Adam,
I
go
like
ahead. That was a good play
this
right
is,
Thanks, Tom.
This is sort of a question of our time, whether it's a men in this case or women. In human history, the whole conversation of should I have kids or not have kids, it hasn't been this much out there. It's now becoming the question of our age. I mean, how many countries do we see declining birth rates, including the United States?
Yeah.
So we can look all over the world, but I tend to always say, all right, how does this affect America? And I'm going through this as we speak. So is Vinny. It's the whole conversation that we have, which I really enjoy because it helps growth, and it really makes me think. The number one question: who do you want to be? And the question that I'm grappling with is, am I more selfish? Am I more selfless? Where does it take? Where do I need to be? Where am I in this map? These are questions that you have to ask as a person. And I've gotten very clear that 1,000,000% want to have kids, without a doubt.
But you don't want to raise them. You just want to have
Well,
them.
I want to do the John Cena thing, make a ton of money, and then just, maybe I'll have Vinny Chess feed him. You never know.
Yeah. Yep.
But, what I will say about John Cena is he seems to be pretty comfortable with his decision. Do your thing, bro. I've seen Bill Maher be very comfortable with his decision. He seems to be living a very enjoyable yet selfish life.
Although I think they're different. I do think those two are different. I think Bill is comfortably selfish, and he doesn't give a shit what you think about it.
Right.
I don't know if John Cena is he likes entertaining. He likes, being around people. He likes, contributing, giving back. He gives that vibe that he likes doing it. But there's a couple things you got to be thinking about this. So, when he's like, I'm super competitive, and as a highly competitive person, you're what? What were the 2 words he said? Stubborn and selfish,
Yeah,
right?
selfish.
Okay. So, in other words, what he's saying to me is, he's saying, I don't think you can have it all. That's all I hear in what he's saying there. I don't think you can have it all, right? Trump won in politics, won in business, won on TV, and has how many kids? 5 kids. And their kids are good kids. I mean, you don't see a lot of drama with their kids. His kids are doing good things, right? Michael Jordan was the greatest of all time, and he still had kids. You can go to Musk, who runs God knows how many businesses. You can go to the Walton family. You can go to some of these guys that are the greatest at what they do. So there is a limiting belief about the fact that if you have kids, you're going to have to lose other areas in your life. I think that I don't know how much truth there is behind that. Of course, there's a part of it you're going to have to do. But if you go Google the following, Rob, John Cena's relationship with his father, right? Vinny said this. John Cena's relationship with his father. And with father, just take his out. Yeah, John Cena's relationship with father, right there. Zoom in. John Cena rarely addresses it, but he shares a fractured relationship with his father. A 16-time has not been able to make up for the fact that his dad didn't believe in him, so he quit his job to indulge in bodybuilding in 1998 and get into professional wrestling. I mean, look, when you have an example like that and there's the fear and the pain, you don't want to go through it. But I can tell you, go back to the numbers you showed, Rob, the one that Adam was asking you. There you go. Look at this here. Rob, Tom, look at this. In 1963, the global fertility rate was 5.3. In 92 was 3. In 2021 is 2.3. Okay. And you can see where is 1 to 1.9. Look at US. We're at 1.6 right now. Okay.
Blue means you're having babies. Red or pink
meaning
means
Africa's
you're not
on
really
fire,
yes.
Middle East on fire,
Yep.
right? Even some part of Central America, South America on fire. But when you look at zoom in to see what the super red are. I know Japan is 0.7. So if you zoom in, what is that? Is that, that's not cute. What
It
island
should
is
be
that?
Korea and Singapore.
Right. I think, can you go on a red and see what the red is, or it doesn't let you do it? No, it doesn't
It
let
won't
you
let
do
me
it.
do that.
Yeah, Japan is at 0.7%, and they have a sexless society. But yeah, the idea is, are we having fewer kids, Tom, because we're becoming more selfish? Are we having fewer kids because people are living more for themselves? Are we having fewer kids because it's harder? Are we having fewer kids because it's harder? Are we having fewer kids because there's this big LGBTQ movement going on? Why are we having fewer kids than we did just 50, 60 years ago?
What I say, well, first of all, I look at that map there, and you could probably overlay the same map of what part of the world doesn't have cable. You can see.
That's a good point.
You know, take a look. There it is.
Or Netflix. Or Netflix.
Africa doesn't have cable or Netflix.
Yeah.
They're doing it themselves. There are three things that I see going on. Two big ones and then a basket of little things. The big one is I think people are living for themselves and they want to do all these things, and children are a time issue and a responsibility issue. The next one is expense. They're expensive, and people know they're expensive, and they think about their parents making ends meet, and then they think about what they're going to do and are more expensive. Those are the two big ones. And then there's a basket of smaller ones that tough people don't buy into. Oh, do you think it would be hard to have kids today? Would you and Kim think twice about kids because of what's happened to schools? No. You know, we would be figuring out ways around it exactly the way we did. So I'm not worried about LGBTQ and invading the school and making that life part of it hard for me. No, sorry. You know, what about with modern day social media and everything? You know, that makes it difficult. No, that's my responsibility as a parent. But people living for themselves, yes. And people looking at the responsibility and the expense, yes, those are having direct impacts.
I used to say...
Now, China had a one-child
right.
You know, federal program.
Right. I used to give a presentation 20 years ago in 2004. It showed that the average kid you raise from 0 to 18 costs you $245.
Yeah, of course.
Right now it's $375.
Yeah, of course.
It's $375,000 to raise a kid. So if you have 3 kids, you need $1 million for 18 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So $1 million divided by 18 years is what? 30, 40, 60. You need roughly $55,000 a year to have 3 kids for 18 years. That's really what
So
the cost
when you
is.
put one kid,
And that's just the
No,
kids.
by the way, when you put it like that, Pat, $375,000, that's why when a kid goes, "Shut up, Dad," you're like, "I will slap the That's like your Ferrari telling you to go to hell.
It's $20,000 a year per kid. This is after-tax money. So imagine you have to add another 0.25%.
Wow.
You know,
Inflation.
$20,000. You're talking about $27,000 a year pre-tax. So if you have 3 kids, you need $80,000 a year just for your kids if you have 3 kids.
Yep.
So it is expensive to have kids, but that's not John's problem.
Not
that's
at
the
all.
average person's
0%
problem
John's
to have.
problem.
Yeah, and this kind of goes. Go ahead. I'm gonna go to the next story.
I was going to add just one thing.
Go ahead.
So Tom touched on it. So the reasons for this, and I kind of boiled it down. For sure, the money is a major factor. You know, thank you for breaking that down. And then follow the money. You know, ultimately, it's the woman's decision whether she wants to actually have a kid or not. You know, so in John Cena's situation, his wife is a 35-year-old female engineer.
Shay Shahizadeh. She's born in Iran. She's an engineer. She was in a movie.
Right. So she's going to have a decision in this. So for me, it boils
What do you
down
mean
to
she's going to have a decision in this?
if she wants to have kids, he's probably going to have to take that into consideration.
No,
She obviously doesn't.
No. He said, trust me, this guy's an alpha. He's not doing this because of her.
Yeah.
This is his decision.
Oh, for sure.
Are you kidding me? Like, this is John Cena. He knows who he is. Don't get me wrong. Good for him. Good for his wife. I'm sure they got a great relationship together. You know, being a Persian girl, he's got to make a lot of money to take care of a Persian girl. It's typically 3-4 times the amount of income you need to make of an average person you date.
maybe that's why he's worried.
But the point.
That's just makeup.
But that is his decision. And he said, not now, not in the future. He didn't even leave an out that maybe one day I'll change my mind.
Nope.
That's not her. That's him.
It's a weird situation. I have one friend, I'll go super quick. I have one friend who's in his mid-40s that got the snip.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he's never doesn't have kids. He's like, I've made the decision that I don't like the direction the world is going, so I'm not even trying to do this. It's like, okay, that's a pretty aggressive decision. But a lot of people chase their career. And the rise of modern feminism, we've had this discussion before. So women have to basically make the decision: do I pull over and have kids? Do I focus on my job? Do I focus on my career?
You're married to John Cena.
But that's my point: is that a woman that's married? What is John Cena worth? I'm guessing $100 million, give or take. You know, money is not $80 million. It's not his big thing. So, but then you have things like $80 million. Then you start, these acronyms: DINKS and SINKS and NEETs. Have you heard of these things?
Be careful with,
I'm trying to,
you're one letter away from offending
dual
the community.
income, no kids.
One letter.
DINKS, dual income, no kids.
Okay.
SINKS, single income, no kids. Then you have thing like NEETs.
Take it easy, Adam.
There it is. Not employed, no education, and no training, NEETs. You have MEEKS, married with kids. You have WEEKS, married, husband works, wife takes care of child. You have all these weird acronyms.
Yeah.
And what you're losing throughout all this is the traditional nuclear family unit. And I think that's what we're veering away from.
Maybe, would you, if that's a dinkwad, double income, no kids with a dog, what do you call it if it's like a double income, no kids with a cat?
Yeah.
Dink? I don't know. I don't even want to go there because,
a twink,
look, folks,
maybe? I don't know.
Whatever you are, whatever you're into, if you're listening to podcasts, someone's going to offend you. Welcome to one of us offending you today. One thing to know, the debate is officially happening. Next is a Tuesday night, Rob. So we're doing right after the Vol Conference. I'm going to be at the Vol Conference this weekend at Palm Beach Convention Center. Bunch of people will be there. Thousands of people are coming from around the world. Cannot wait to see all of you guys. However, next Tuesday night, we will do a live Trump-Harris debate reaction with a live audience. But just like last time, we don't sell the full room because our employees like to come. We're only selling the first 50 tickets that buy. We will still do the VIP. We'll still go afterwards, have the cigar, the conversations. We're going to do that part. That's the QR code. Go get registered. The first 50 that buy tickets will be invited to be with us next Tuesday. Rob, what time is is it going to be a 6 to 11 type of situation that we're doing?
Yes, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And, of course, we'll do the cigars right after the debate's over with. And there's a lot of craziness going on here, but especially with everything going on right now, if you're following this will be the first debate they're having. Come join us. We'll have a good time together, as well as potentially for the VIPs, we'll do cigars and conversations afterwards.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.